Hey guys, it's Barrett with the Gimpy Camper. This week's adventure takes us to Victoria Campground, which is a Corps of Engineers, an Army Corps of Engineers campground in Woodstock, Georgia, that's near Atlanta. It's just north of Atlanta, just right inside that window of how far we like to go from the Chattanooga area in order to get away for the weekend. It's only our second Army Corps of Engineers experience. The first one was Gunner Hill down in Montgomery, Alabama, and boy, did it set the bar high. Granted, it had recently had some renovations and stuff like that, but what I really wanted to do was just find somewhere in our general area to get away to and find, if you were wanting to visit like the Atlanta area, where would you want to stay? Now, one other place that we've been to in the last few months was Red Top Mountain State Park. It was a pretty nice state park, and it was nice and wooded, kind of like this here. But the issue is it was pretty tight in the campground, and you had to go across a pretty narrow bridge to get there. This is a better campground in my opinion. Granted, I'm partially biased because I really like the Army Corps of Engineers. Mainly, well, one of the reasons is because I have the access pass. And if you don't have an interagency pass, we have a video on that too. But you need to look and see if you're eligible for one. The only ones that give camping discounts apparently are the Senior Citizens Pass and the Access Pass, which is the handicap pass. But you definitely need to check those out. I have a video just explaining the differences in the passes here, but I wasn't aware at that time that it was only these two that gave you the camping discounts. But those discounts give you up to 50% off. National Forest, a lot of times it's not 50% off, but national parks, these Army Corps of Engineers sites, they are usually 50% off, which makes this stuff pretty cheap. Now, I want you to understand though, even if you don't qualify for one of those passes, this is still one of the best values that you're going to find in a campground. You know, one thing we usually like to hit in our review is the cell phone service, and we have Verizon. We have 2 bars of 4G LTE here. And you know, after some time of doing this and getting around to different areas, you realize that 2 bars doesn't necessarily mean anything, because sometimes we have 2 bars and it's not worth a flip. And sometimes we have 2 bars and it's actually good, useful service. We do have good, useful service here. It is, like I say, only 2 bars, but it's been fine. I've not tried to stream anything because we got quite a few TV channels in through the antenna. And it was kind of a rainy weekend, so a lot of time on Saturday, I brought the old PlayStation down. We just hung out and had a lazy weekend, which you need to do from time to time, okay? So here in this campground, you're gonna be about 45 minutes from Atlanta if that's your thing and you wanna do that. A lot of people try to avoid it, and a lot of people from the Atlanta area try to find things to do to get away for the weekend. And this is a perfectly nice, great place to do that. There are a couple of boat ramps here. There's a boat dock. They have a day use area. There's a couple of different beaches here. There's one beach that's in the campground. Looks like it's probably pretty decent size whenever the water's up. The water's still down a little bit right now because we're in the beginning of April, so I think the level's going to rise a little bit more. But it looks like a really nice beach area. But if you go outside of the park and you turn left, you go to the day use area. Now, one thing that I did realize is that your pass to get in the park here does not cover you to get into the day use area. I think it's either $3 or $5 a car, but you know, it's still not that much. If you got one of those passes though, that gets your way in there. But the beach area over there, now I'm gonna say, is already pretty crowded here in the beginning of April, just people hanging out on the beach and dipping their feet in the water. But it's a superb beach and swimming area over there. I've never seen anything quite like this. So what they do is they have it marked off. There's a little island right away from the beach area. And so they have it marked off all the way to that island with the pipes that float, you know, to mark off the swimming areas. But they actually make like a huge triangle, and it's just neat and unique the way they did that. On one side of that, it's actually got 2 parallel pipes there. I think that's for kind of like the whole lap swim kind of deal, but I'm not really sure about that. So this video is going to be pretty short and sweet, but I'm going to walk you through some of the sites here that I really like. So none of these sites are really bad. I don't even put it on my list here to avoid any of them, okay? Now some of them I will say kind of have an incline going down to the campsite or up to the campsite, but the actual campsite's going to be pretty level. One difference between Gunner Hill and here is these sites are paved, but they're blacktop and not concrete, which I'm perfectly okay with blacktop. I'm okay with gravel. I don't really care if the site's paved or not. They do a great job here about giving you nice, large private sites. Some of them aren't quite as spaced out as others, but none of them really felt like they were cramped right on top of each other. I will say that some of these inner sites that are away from the water, you have like a tremendous amount of space and woods between you and the next site, where some of the ones that are on the water, you're a little bit closer together, but you still have more space than you would in a typical commercial campground where they just stack in on top of each other. All right, so let's do some of my favorite sites here. I'm going to rank these in the order that I would pick them to stay in, but you know, some of it's a little bit subjective, and this stuff can be like splitting hairs sometimes. So one more thing I wanted to say about the check-in process. So check-in and check-out's pretty late here, which I'm kind of a fan of actually. And so check-in time's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I believe. I'm going to double check that and I'll verify it down here. But check-out time is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, for me personally, I really like to do my videos on Monday before I leave because I'm a procrastinator. And sometimes that can be an issue anyway, because like Monday's the busiest day for cleanup. I've had to stop my video a couple times because they keep using a leaf blower to blow off sites and stuff around here. And yeah, I should probably not wait till Monday, but that's what I do. And it seems like I'm always rushed to get out of here. Now they did say, I did come in early and just take a chance that nobody was in the site here. They said you could call the regional office here and they could tell you if anybody was still on the site or not before you came. So that way you knew and you could come early if you wanted to. I'll try to find that phone number and I'll post it here. So in my opinion, the best site here with privacy and lake view and all of that is going to be site 22. After that, I would vote on site 13, then site 19, then site 21, site 17, site 14, site 26, site 11, and site 51. Now all of those sites are going to have beautiful lake views. I will say site 51 is going to be the least optimal of those sites that I suggested, which is why it's last. And that's mainly because it's right beside a boat ramp over here. And so you're going to have people coming past you quite a bit to go down the boat ramp. It's also a relatively short site, so you got to keep that in mind as well. A lot of the sites here are very large and spacious though. Moving on our list with the better sites to stay in, which like I say, these are going to be splitting hairs, okay? After a certain point, I stopped writing numbers down just because they were all nice. Site 52, site 55, and 56. Now 55 and 56, I'm going to tell you that those are pull-in sites, pull-through sites. And so because they're pull-through sites, it's not the most level of the area over there. You do have a little bit of a water view in these areas, but the issue is that there's some incline going down the loop and back up the loop, but the actual camping area seems to be pretty level. But if you have a longer rig, you could have a little bit of drag there. I'm also going to say site 58, site 71, site 72, site 66, which is where we are, site 73. Site 48 was a really nice site just because it's right near the beach area here. The problem with that, it is a pull-through as well, but the pull-through is kind of steep there. You got to watch some of these pull-through sites because some of them are pretty sharp curves. and you don't want to take too long of a rig through there. This is one of those, I'd say 30 foot would probably be okay. You might have to back in from the other side. But the issue with this site, number one, it's going to be really close to the beach. But number two, there's a path that goes right through your campsite basically down to the beach. And so you could have a lot of foot traffic through your campsite if that's something that you really don't want. Now some of the pull-throughs are very large, and a lot of those are going to be at the end of the loops, as well as sites 60 through 62. 60 through 62 are very large pull-through sites. They're right next to the bathroom, and so that's one thing that may help you out if you want to be close to the bathhouse. Site 43 is a very large site. A lot of these sites are really big, but they're not that wide. It's like a single path as far as the parking place goes, and then it's got a gravel pad for your chairs and all that. But this site, in site 43, you have a pretty wide paved path where you could park a couple of cars on. Some other of the large pull-through sites are going to be sites 38, site 70, site 5, site 9. And then if you want to reserve a handicap site, there's not going to be that much of a benefit from the handicap site. But the one that I would pick, because the one that's down here on the far end with us, it's in this loop, it's just not that big, and it is secluded, but it's a pretty short site. So the one that I would recommend if you were going to get a handicap site would be site 29. It's huge. You can see this triple axle, big old toy hauler beast sitting here. And it's right across from the playgrounds, right across from the beach, all that stuff. So it's a very nice site if you need a handicap site. I also wanted to say something real quick about the bathrooms. So the bathrooms here, they're not bad. They get the job done. They're clean. They are older. Because of that, they do have some issues, like the one that's down here on the end of the loop where you turn left at the guard shack and you come down to the loop on the left. The one down here does quite a bit of rust and stuff on the separation panels in between the stalls, but besides that, they're good bathrooms. The other one that's right up next to the guard shack, it was a lot nicer, had less rust and all that stuff. But like I say, it gets the job done. It's private. I think it's climate controlled, and so if you want to use a bathhouse, it's a good option. All right, guys, so that's about all I got for you here at Victoria Campground. Army Corps of Engineers. By the way, no, you don't have to be in the military service to stay in an Army Corps of Engineers campground. That question gets thrown out there quite a bit, but you don't. You do, like I say, get a discount if you have one of the passes. And so, like I say, if there's any way that you think you might qualify for one of those, you need to check. You need to check today. But thanks for watching our video. Thanks for continuing to follow us on our journey, and hopefully I'll find some more cool places to share with you along the way.
Do not forget to hit that subscribe button.